Hi guys, what are we going to do today? Today we are going to show you how to use fun vintage photos. And we're going to show you some different ways to map them and use them that you could add to anything as fun ephemera or even have them framed. Let's get started.
I just printed these off. I found these fun images on Etsy and they're old photographs, so I printed them off. But even out of old magazines, newspapers, you even may have some old photographs that you could cut out to use for this project. And what we're really doing is framing them. Cut all of them out first, and you could cut them or you could tear them. I'm gonna cut this one and I'm gonna tear a couple. So on this one, I think I'm gonna round the corners, and the other ones I'll leave them square. For all three of these, I am going to mat them onto this off-white paper, a newsprint or a manila color. And I do not want my paper really wrinkly, so I am going to use a glue stick on this. I would either use tape or a glue stick. You could use a Mod Podge, but then you have the chance that it may get very bubbly and wrinkly. Now, if you have some beautiful old vintage photos, you can also just make photocopies of them so you're not using the originals. I am either going to cut or tear around these, and I am just going to make a tiny border. I am going to just leave this one as is, and it looks like it has a cute little frame. This one right here, I'm going to use on a craft paper, so I'm going to glue this down to this craft paper. So I've glued this to this craft paper, and then what I'm going to do is just cut another border. Using this crackle, I'm just going to put just a little bit on this photograph and on the edges. And then I'm just going to rub the edges with black. So I put some distressing on here, my vintage photo distressing ink, and I'm putting a little water on here to move the ink. On this one that we just have the frame on, I'm going to use my vintage photo distressing with my crackle. Put this one aside to dry. And this one right here, I am going to put some vintage photo around the edges of this, add a little block to these edges. And then I'm going to adhere it to this dark brown paper. And then what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna pretend this is almost like a cabinet card. I know this doesn't say photographer, it says painter, but I thought this might be kind of fun. Photographers, when they did their cards, they had their names on there, and they were usually on the side. I'm going to stamp this down first, and then I will lay my photo. So it's just offset from the photo. And I'm going to glue stick this down also. I'm going to cut this out. So I'm going to put some crackle on this. And this is just my crackle stamp that I have, a little bit of hit and miss. And then I'm going to corner punch these so it all lines up the same. And then I'm going to do some black ink on the edges of this one.
Wasn't this easy? Just a fun way to reuse photos and make them look very vintage, almost like cabinet cards. Hope you guys give this a try. I'd love to see what you do, but whatever you do, have fun.